Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So recently loads of Cybermen were seen filming at St. Paul's Cathedral, so in honor of that I wanted to do my top 10 Cybermen episodes. And even though Doctor Who's not going to be at Comic-Con next week, I'm still going to do a Doctor Who themed giveaway, so I'll explain that at the end of this video. Hello any new people, if you're just finding me for the first time, I do weekly Doctor Who videos, be sure to subscribe to get everything. I've even got some special stuff planned for whenever the episodes start airing. So just to explain the Cybermen at St. Paul's Cathedral, the rumor is that the scene they were filming was an homage to the scene from the Season 6 episode, The Invasion. That's Classic Who Season 6, it was a second Doctor episode. The episode is really notable because that was the last Cybermen episode before the 1975 Revenge of the Cybermen, so they basically went away for about 7 years. It featured the classic Mondas design. I also think it was the first televised episode to feature St. Paul's Cathedral on screen. The only other reference I could find to it being in an episode was in archival footage during the Series 5 finale, The Big Bang. There was also a Mondas Cyberman head spotted whenever Capaldi was filming, so I'm really looking forward to some Easter eggs. I wonder if that means Stephen Moffat is going to retire the Cybermen for the remainder of his tenure. But either way, let's look at the top 10 Cybermen episodes. Number 10, Tomb of the Cybermen. This was the first appearance. The second Doctor arrives on the planet Telos with an archaeological crew that tries to revive them. The Doctor, of course, defeated them and resealed the tomb. So that episode established the Cybermats, the little, computer mice looking Cybermen, as well as the Cyber Controller, the one that controls all Cybermen. If this episode were made today, a Cybermat would be seen zooming off into the distance after the TARDIS dematerialized, just as a teaser that they would return at some point. You can thank Marvel movie culture for making that such a huge deal today, but TV soap operas have been doing stuff like that for a long time. The episode's also really notable because it's the oldest surviving Second Doctor episode, and the oldest surviving Cybermen episode. So even though these Cybermen look way different from the other Mondas Cybermen that showed up during Classic Who, they're all considered part of the Cyber Empire. That basically includes all pre-Cybus versions of the characters. I don't really consider the Cybus Industries Cybermen as part of the group, but it gets a little confusing because during the 2005 reboot, the 11th Doctor kept running into the Cyber Legion fleet in space. The Mondas Cybermen also had their own fleet, so it gets a little timey-wimey. But number 9, The Invasion. This was the last Cybermen episode before that big break. It's them invading current-day London and marching around in the streets like awful space tourists before Unit and the Doctor took care of them. So there's actually a lot of interesting non-Cybermen stuff about this episode. From a production standpoint, they were using the episode as a test for the new format of the show. Instead of the way you see like an hour-long episode broken into acts today, the old Doctor Who episodes were physically separated into story arcs. So it would be like them doing a Series 8 episode and just like chopping it up based on story acts and posting those separately. It's a little weird, but web series today do that all the time. The episode is also a bit of a follow-up to Web of Fear, which is from Season 5, the year before. That was another modern invasion story that involved Unit and the Great Intelligence. So be on the lookout for Great Intelligence Easter eggs in the Series 8 finale. That's not airing till like November or December, and they haven't said whether or not they'll be taking weeks off during Series 8. It's totally possible that they could just air all 12 episodes of the regular part of the series back to back and then just take a couple weeks off before the Christmas special. But number 8, The Five Doctors. This is like porn for classic Cybermen fans. It featured 3 different cyber controllers, even though 2 of them ate it pretty fast. The episode was a little bit silly, but that's kind of the point. Art always gets reinterpreted, so people who watch this whenever it first aired probably feel differently. It's so much fun though. The modern series has not shown off Gallifrey the way the classic series did. Although I do know a lot of you think that the Doctor will be traveling to Gallifrey in the Pocket Universe based on that scene from the Series 8 trailer. Just drawing the association between the way that looked and the way it looked during the Doctor's wife. I'll totally save that for a future video just because we could spend all day talking about it. But more Cybermen, moving on to number 7, Earthshock. This was another episode that brought them back from a long hiatus. This aired during 1982, during the 5th Doctor's run. Before this, the last episode to feature them in a big way was the 1975 episode, Revenge of the Cybermen. The Doctor basically has to stop the Cybermen from crashing a giant spaceship into the planet like an asteroid, while the nations of the Earth try to unite. There are a few more Easter eggs relative to Series 8 in here. For instance, Adric name drops Romana and E-Space, which is just like the Pocket Universe, it's extra-dimensional. Capaldi's comment that they're traveling into darkness makes me feel like they're definitely traveling outside of normal space, but that could take them almost anywhere, especially if he's correcting mistakes of the past. But I don't think that Romana's going to come back. But number 6, the Pandorica opens. This was legitimately a team-up episode, so I can't strictly call it a Cyberman episode, but I just love the sight of that Cyberhead chomping its way after Amy and then Rory splitting it through the door. It's a lot like the Daleks we saw in Asylum. Even though they look terrible and ancient, it doesn't mean they're harmless. I always love team-up episodes. You know, usually it's the Doctor's friends coming to help him, but when the enemies do it, it's so much more fun. But number 5, Silver Nemesis. This is the kind of episode you get if you combine Doctor Who with Merlin and Indiana Jones. There are 3 different factions trying to gain control of one of Rassilon's artifacts, the 3 factions being the Cybermen, a sorceress, and a group of Nazis. This episode was from 1988, which falls between Temple of Doom and Last Crusade, and even if the writers weren't overtly paying homage to Indiana Jones, you have to admit that after those movies, anytime you think of ancient artifacts and Nazi collectors, you think of Indiana Jones. The episode was also the 25th anniversary of Doctor Who, just giving the silver in the title a nice double meaning. The producers even tried to get Prince Edward to appear in it, but the royal family declined. Last year, during the 50th anniversary, the royal family paid them back and did host a party to celebrate the occasion. On to number 4, Nightmare in Silver. There are a lot of mixed feelings about this episode. Neil Gaiman revealed that originally it was planned as a 2-part episode, like a 2-hour episode. So I think any story complaints that people have can be blamed on them mashing it all down into a single hour. I always wonder if those really awesome promo shots, like when the Cyberman is revealed as the Turk playing chess, like if it's written that way, if Neil Gaiman knew that that was going to be used as a promo. If you're not familiar, the Turk is a so-called automaton created in the late 18th century. It was originally designed to be the world's first robot that would play chess against you, and it would play really well. But secretly, it was a puppet device operated by a chess master hidden in the bowels of the machine, which is why it was so funny when Warwick Davis crawled out from under that table. I also really like the way they try to play the idea of Mr. Clever, the hybrid organism created whenever the cyber planner merges with the Doctor. It got a little silly, but the gifs of Matt Smith were hilarious. I think the real surprise of the episode, though, was the Cybermen finding a way to thwart the Doctor's physiological incompatibilities and take over his mind, if not his body. But number 3, Revenge of the Cybermen. This was the first time they were brought back after a long hiatus. At this point, they hadn't really gotten a big episode for about 7 years. The 4th Doctor essentially learns about a plot where the Cybermen are infecting people to eliminate the threat of gold. It was explained that one of the Mondus Cybermen's weaknesses was gold. It just affected their organic breathing parts. This was also the story that aired directly after Genesis of the Daleks and the episode that immediately preceded Terror of the Zygons, 2 really important 4th Doctor stories. It's really easy to understand why people love the 4th Doctor so much, just because there were so many iconic stories during his run. But number 2, Army of Ghosts. The Cybermen in this episode were like hitchhikers from hell. Bonus points to anyone that can come up with a Hitchhiker's Guide reference. They basically just didn't have the technology to design the Void ship that the Daleks had, so they just hopped a ride. Like an interdimensional bus between end space and the parallel universe. So this episode was a little different in that the Daleks and the Cybermen fought each other, unlike the Pandorica Opens when they were teaming up. These were the Cybus versions that appeared earlier during Series 2. They were all sucked into the Void, but then they came back again during the next Doctor Christmas special, the one with David Morrissey. That's also a really fun episode that you cannot find on Netflix, which is kind of unfortunate. But my number 1 Cybermen episode, the 2-parter Rise of the Cybermen in Age of Steel. This was the reintroduction of the Cybermen in the 2005 reboot with a brand new design. Like whenever Star Trek redesigned the Klingons for Next Generation, it was a pretty big deal. And as far as mid-season finales go, it was a hell of a 2-parter. In an alternate universe, Cybus Industries and John Lumick created the Cybermen as a way to cheat death. He was terminally ill, and as expected, the Cybermen went completely nuts. Supposedly they converted about 5 million of the people on that Earth. They broke into end space a few times, and iterations of their design pop up every time we see the Cybermen in future series. And just as an alt choice, there's the Big Finish story Spare Parts. Essentially, it's an audio drama that is like the Genesis of the Daleks episode for the Cybermen. It stars Peter Davison, and in the story, it's explained that the original version of the Cybermen from Classic Who were a race of people who lived on a planet that was drifting too close to their sun, and as a measure of last resort, they turned themselves into Cybermen. It definitely gives new meaning to that phrase from the trailer, "Life prevails." But let me know what your favorite Cybermen story is in the comments below. It does not have to be an episode, it could totally be one of the comics or one of the Big Finish stories. There are loads coming in Series 8, so get excited. We don't really know what's going to bring them back yet, but I will be doing more weekly bonus videos until episode 1 airs. So just as a reminder, that's going to be on Saturday, August 23rd. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. And just to explain my Comic-Con giveaway, all you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. I'll leave it open till the week after Comic-Con, just so you guys have a chance to find it. So right now, click here for my breakdown of the Series 8 trailer, and click here for my top 10 Daleks. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. High fives.